What's up, everybody? It's been 9 months and about 9 months, and that's my bad. I've been taking a long time to do everything, especially tuning. I was mostly waiting on the car to like make good power to post this video, and it's pretty good. It's like decent right now, but far from done. Probably around 300-ish horsepower, it feels like right now. And that's like half throttle. That I can't full throttle it. I can't do any of that. And I'll show you some of the sound clips at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But yeah, a lot of complications with the tuner, his personal life, which is fine. We're gonna just do what we gotta do. I got some upgrades and some other things that we gotta do. I've been moving around. I moved to Idaho, didn't like it, so we moved back to Vegas, or not back to Vegas. I moved to Vegas. So yeah, got everything set up, currently unemployed, so that's why I'm making this video now. I'm sick of waiting, and I'm sure you guys are too. And I wanted to go over the last couple of things I didn't mention in the previous video about the install process, including the blow-off valve, hot side mounting, injector. There's a couple of things I didn't go over, so I want to just clarify all those things for those of you who will be buying the Eurocan kit. And let's get into it. So in this kit from Eurocan, they include the tile blow-off valve. I believe it's a 40 something millimeter, not sure, tile blow-off valve. And yeah, there's a lot of mounts for these. This one's come with a V-band clamp mount. And if you are running the OEM N52 manifold, the Eurocan kit will include a piece down here that will be able to mount the tile blow-off valve. Pretty much they do like aluminum up, silicone 90, aluminum with a V-band fitting for the blow-off valve, and it's in the general same area-ish. This is my N54 manifold, N54 throttle body, VRSF charge pipe. There's my N52 MAF sensor bung welded on, just one more time. And then yeah, this charge pipe for the N54 comes with the exact V-band mount for the tile blow-off valve. And then, so pretty much all it is a vacuum reference to manifold. And when it sees vacuum, that means you're not making boost. That means you're off the throttle. And when you're off the throttle, you don't want excess boost in your charge pipe. So that's what the blow-off valve is for, to make sure you don't get too much turbo flutter. I mean, we still get a little bit. Stay tuned for the sound clips at the end. There's actually a lot of turbo flutter, not gonna lie. But yeah, that's the setup right there. Next is the injectors. I didn't go over that in the last video, but it's pretty straightforward. I'm sure there are a lot of other videos on how to change the injectors. For the straight specs of these, the kit includes 590cc Bosch injectors. So I'm not sure what that relates to in pounds, but yeah, 590cc Bosch injectors. And make sure you don't lose those little clips when you're taking them off. Pretty much you just pop off these little clips, and then there are little metal clips holding this fuel rail on as well. And you want to be careful not to lose or drop any of those. But yeah, make sure you have a rag under your fuel feed line for when you relieve pressure, so you don't drip all over your manifold. I forgot to include the actual mounting of the hot side in the previous video. My main advice, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like, the piece is going to fit together how it's supposed to, and if it's not, it's going to be obvious. So my main advice is to mock it all up first before you tighten anything down. You know, fit it all up, and make sure your exhaust wrap, like I couldn't make my exhaust wrap come all the way up to here and like be thick around here. This had to stay pretty thin so that I could have access to these bolts, or else the heat wrap would get in the way. So be sure your heat wrap is not in your way for all of the things. But yeah, definitely mock it all up and then bolt it down. And then for the wastegate, it's the same thing. Mock it up. It's a little hard from under the car to mock it up, especially if you're doing it on your back. I'm praying for you guys. I did this on the lift, so it was a little easier to mock up the wastegate, but still not the most comfortable. But yeah, definitely you want to mock it up and get it all angled, get everything all angled right. You know, you want to measure twice, cut once, not really shortcut stuff. Unless it's easy to shortcut sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Just some little shortcuts here and there. Anyways, and then the next piece that was a really big headache for me was the differences in the radiators. So there are a couple different variants of radiators for the E90, E92s, and for me it was kind of confusing of which one I needed to get, because the N52 radiator will not fit in the car with an intercooler in the car. So you need an N54 style radiator, and the difference is in the trans coolers. So the N52 automatic radiator has different trans coolers connections than the N54 auto trans. So the N52 automatic to N54 automatic have two different trans cooler lines, or different like fit ups for trans coolers depending on, you know, the DTCs and the other transmission variants. So it's all relatively confusing. This car had an auto GM trans in it, so it had an automatic, and I'll put pictures of the different radiators up on the screen here so you guys can see. Right now my trans cooler lines are looped together because this is now manual swapped. So they're looped where they would normally connect to the auto trans. And I initially, when I got the kit, I got the N54 automatic radiator in the kit, and when I installed it, the hole on the passenger side of the road was not being used. I assumed that the different style plugs were supposed to block coolant from the lower trans cooler section of the radiator, but it didn't work. I used both plugs and then filled it with coolant, and it still leaked both times. And then I realized I needed the manual N54 radiator because it did not have that extra fitting where my coolant was leaking. So to my understanding, the N54 auto trans radiator will not work in any 52 application without more modification, like swapping in a 335 DTC transmission with the same cooler fittings, because the trans coolers are different. So pretty much to summarize, double check what your radiator has right now and then get the 335 or smaller radiator equivalent to it. So I ended up going with the manual transmission 335 radiator, and it works great. Specs. So I get a lot of questions about certain specs, specifically like turbo size and just all the parts. And to make it short, I'm not sponsored or anything, but it's the complete Eurocan racing kit. As I've said, if you've seen my first video, and the turbo specs are not posted on their website, but they did give them to me, so I will give them to you. This is a GT 3582 Turbo. I'll put up all of the turbine and AR, all the specs up on the screen right here. Pretty much what I'm looking at the most in these specs is the AR. So the AR is a little lower on this turbo than for most, what you'll like kind of normally see. Around 0.8 to 1 is a pretty good AR, and it's pretty much, AR stands for area over radius, which is a measurement of the size of the turbine housing. So it's like how big the actual housing is compared to like the inducer, exducer, and all that stuff. And that'll pretty much, the AR number will show you the comparison from the hot side to cold side and how easy it is to spool the cold side up, how easy it is to spool the turbo up pretty much, or how much turbo lag you have. So smaller AR housings are better for street applications where low end torque and boost response are more important than top end power, and larger AR ratio housings are better for racing applications like straight line stuff where you're just trying to make the most power possible and you don't really care about lag. That's why all these drag racing and roll racing dudes have like crazy anti-lag stuff, because it takes for freaking ever to spool up their turbos. All right, so we're here in the E90. We just got our next file upload. I have a folder on my laptop with all everything that goes on with the tuning. So we have some logs that I sent, which are these PDFs, and then these other maps are files that he sent back, which are all of the maps that I've done so far. The very first map, also I have Chaos Calibrations pulled up, which is the software. So we have the cable plugged in. This is a high-end, like a nice high-end cable by Beamer Geeks. So they're going to have a pretty reliable cable, which I trust. I haven't had any issues with it. My battery did die last time I did a long tune. But on these files, when he sends you a file, when you first turbo your car, you're gonna get this is Rev 1 base map. So that's like the whole base map. And then on Chaos Calibrations Flash, there's this catalog on the left. You click tune, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I'll go over it at some point. It would probably help if the key was on. So yeah, car on, engine off. Detecting ECU. All right, so I found the ECU. You can download what's on the ECU right now. When you turbo your car, you're gonna download the stock tune that came on it before it was turboed that it was running on, and then send them that. And then flash tune is what we're doing on the bottom here. It's probably hard to see with the glare. Yeah, flash tune. So we're going to do that. And then all of these files, the first one you get, you're gonna do a full upload. So 328i tuning. We're gonna flash on this one, Rev 4. And then right here, this is how you flash it on. So only write full with the base map. The base map that he gives you is a write full because it completely restarts all the different electronic components going on. And then for all the other revisions, you want to write partial. The write full takes about 20 to 30 minutes. Write partial takes about 2 minutes. We'll see here. Go ahead and flash. Car's thinking, it made some noises. And on this, you usually want to put for the long one, definitely hook up a battery tender, like a slow trickle charge 2 amp or 5-6 amp. And then you can see at the bottom, it is going pretty quick. Already at 20%. Before, it would take at least 5 minutes to get to 20%. And then it sounds like the fuel pump is priming the whole time, but that's just the car thinking. It's not, I don't think it's actually priming the pump. And then we wait for this revision to upload on the car, and then we will try it out. The last revision, the car was in limp mode and would not rev up and would not start very good. But the one before that ran pretty good and started to take some boost. So I'm hoping this one is even better, and then we can start doing polls to send logs of the polls, because before I was just sending a log of idle, cold start, warm start, and a short casual normal drive. And then later on, once it gets more dialed, we'll start doing polls. So we'll see how this one feels and what the tuner wants me to do. And just like that, it is flashed. Then here says full flash has been complete. Please turn ignition off for 15 seconds and you can start the car. So that's what we're gonna do. Stop the car, key out, and then we're gonna wait and then go test drive. So anyways, that about wraps it up. That's pretty much the full install kit. I was wanting to do like a lot more driving and stuff in this video, but in the future, like soon, near future, I plan on posting more content, even if it isn't about this car. I know most of you guys are here for this, but I got a pretty sick bike too. I don't know. Maybe I'll post some stuff doing with that. I've got some maintenance to do. It's pretty good. 2009 Husqvarna SM450R. So certified supermoto. Anyways, but yeah, I've got some maintenance thing to do on this. I really hate how it looks. It looks like trash. My paint is garbage. I think I'm just gonna get a new front bumper and like repaint some stuff. Definitely fix my headlight sag. This got hit a long time ago and I never got a new bracket. I just kind of jerry-rigged it up, which is, don't jerry-rig stuff. Anyways, so yeah, I want to fix all my panel gaps and then fix my paint. So I'll bring you guys along for that and post maybe shorter videos of just me knocking out some small maintenance. I'm just gonna hit record when I do it. And then definitely going to keep doing updates on the tuning progression and how much power it's making. I know all of you guys want my times, whatever, 0 to 60, 40 to 120, or like 60 to 130 and stuff like that. So once it makes good power, I'll get you guys all of that stuff. Even though I'm not really into straight line, I like track stuff. So definitely track content and drifting content when the car is running good. So yeah, thank you guys for sticking around and caring about the N52. It's a good engine. I plan on blowing it up someday and doing forge stuff. And yeah, I'll do a video about why the N52 rather than the N54, and why not, like everybody says, just get an N54. I'll give my opinion on that stuff. But anyways, thank you guys for watching very much, and I'll see you next time.